to the Brief News Brief podcast, where the everyday Christian can get caught up on a week's worth of news in 15 minutes without opinion and much bias. I'm your host, Isaac Lopez, and this is presented by the Life Given Radio. 5 seconds, normally 3 minutes apiece. But as you can probably tell by the title of this episode, it is going to be a different format. We are calling it the Brief News Splash, as I only have one story per 5 segments in today's episode. Just due to my schedule, I was not able to spend the hours researching that researching normally requires for this podcast. So I did still want to put out an episode, and this is that episode for this week. My apologies, I couldn't do more. I really am looking forward to it. And in a couple weeks, my schedule will lighten. I won't stop recording this podcast, just for those of you who are wondering. And we will continue to get back to that in-depth reporting and the variety of reporting that I've done in this podcast format. That is not going away, but this week we are just shortening it up a bit. Without further ado, let's jump in. In politics, this week found the former President Donald Trump being acquitted by the Senate in his second impeachment trial. He was the first president to ever be impeached twice. He was acquitted of the charge of inciting violence at the Capitol. In sports, a potential blockbuster move occurred in the NFL. Carson Wentz is on his way to Indianapolis from Philadelphia to play for the Colts and his former offensive coordinator Frank Reich. ESPN reported that the Philadelphia Eagles trade Wentz to the Colts for a 2021 third-round pick and a conditional 2022 second-round pick that could turn into a first-rounder. Wentz needs to play at least 75% of the Colts' offensive snaps for the 2022 conditional pick to become a first-round pick. In health, this one is a little different, but it does deal directly with your diet. Bill Gates recently sat down to tape an interview with MIT Technology Review and discuss his new book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. Gates says that wealthier countries should move to 100% synthetic beef. In a quote, he said, "In terms of livestock, it's very difficult. There are all the things where they feed them different foods. Like there's this one compound that gives you a 20% reduction in methane emissions. But sadly, those bacteria in their digestive system that produce methane are a necessary part of breaking down the grass. And so I don't know if there will be some natural approach there. I'm afraid the synthetic will be required for at least the beef thing." End quote. Now on to faith, family, and freedom. Parler is back up. Parler has officially relaunched. The site, which currently has 20 million users, has appointed Mark Meckler to serve as interim CEO since firing John Matza. Meckler, co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots, said Parler was built to offer a social media platform that protects free speech and values privacy and civil discourse. When Parler was taken offline in January for those who desire to silence tens of millions of Americans, our team came together, determined to keep our promise to our highly engaged community that we would return stronger than ever. We're thrilled to welcome everyone back. Parler is being run by an experienced team and is here to stay. We will thrive as the premier social media platform dedicated to free speech, privacy, and civil dialogue. Now, to conclude with some good news. After being fired by Lucasfilms last week, Gina Carano signed a deal with the Daily Wire to produce and star in a movie with their production team. In a quote, Gina said, "The Daily Wire is helping make one of my dreams to develop and produce my own film come true. I cried out and my prayer was answered. I am sending out a direct message of hope to everyone living in fear of cancellation by the totalitarian mob. I have only just begun using my voice, which is now freer than ever before, and I hope it inspires others to do the same. They can't cancel us if we don't let them." End quote. Now, if you enjoy Brief News Brief podcast, or in today's edition, the Brief News Splash, you may like the Brief Newsletter, which will continue to have reporting like this. Sign up for that in the link below as more newsletters will be forthcoming in the weeks ahead as the schedule lightens. If you want to drop a tip on a story, email me at thebriefnewsbrief@gmail.com. Also, if you want more reporting from other reporters who share a similar vision to myself, check out The Life Given News, a site dedicated to reporting in succinct and honest ways. If you're interested in writing for TLG, reach out to me at thelifegivenandreceived@gmail.com. Follow me on social medias. I'm back on Parler because Parler has returned. I'm also on Twitter, as long as they don't ban me a second time. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Gab, MeWe, and almost any other social media platform out there. Remember who the real enemy is. Ephesians 6:12. God bless, and I will speak with you next Friday.